This is a review of the main events in the armed forces of Ukraine for the past week. The Dobropillia counteroffensive operation of the defense forces disrupted Russia's summer offensive campaign. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelenskyy said this during a meeting with journalists. Since the beginning of this operation, Russia has lost 12,000 troops, including 7,000 killed. At the same time, in the Novopavlivka direction, Russia has concentrated 4 of its armies. The fighting there remains intense. Ukrainian defenders completely liberated 4 villages, and fighting continues in another 4. President Zelenskyy also noted the precision and effectiveness of Ukrainian long-range strikes. As a result, Russia now faces a gasoline shortage of about 20% of its national demand. The president is convinced that only sanctions pressure and the inability of Russia to finance its war can force it to stop. Commander-in-Chief General Oleksandr Syrskyi highlighted the success of long-range strikes this week. He said that in September the number of successful strikes inside Russian territory reached 70. However, last month the enemy increased the number of air attack means by 1.3 times. Despite the effectiveness of air defense at the level of 74%, protection of energy facilities, infrastructure and logistics in the area still needs improvement. During September, Russian occupation forces lost 28,500 troops. General Syrskyi also announced the creation of the new brand of troops, Unmanned Air Defense System within the Air Force. He added that the system of assault troops is being modernized and a new Cyber Forces Command is being formed. The previous Joint Forces operational commands have completed their activities. Their functions are now transferred to newly established grouping of troops and forces based on the operational commands. Russian terrorists continued shelling peaceful Ukrainian towns and villages this week. One of the most massive attacks took place on Friday night. Russia attacked Kyiv and 8 regions, launching almost 500 airstrikes. Energy infrastructure, civilian buildings and residential areas were hit. There are casualties, including children, and many people were injured. Massive shelling continues almost daily, mainly targeting the energy sector. As a result, power outages occurred, but emergency services performed excellently. The defense forces of Ukraine struck the Sverdlov Plant, one of the largest Russian manufacturers of explosives. It produces, among other things, warheads for air defense missile systems. The facility was hit, causing multiple explosions and fires. Also, Ukrainian forces targeted the marine oil terminal in Feodosia, Crimea. It is a major hub for oil and fuel transshipment, supplying the Russian occupation army. Explosions and fires were also reported at the Korobkovsky gas precision plant and the Yefimovka production dispatch station in Russia's Volgograd region. The plant processed natural gas and the station manages major oil and fuel pipelines. In Crimea, a warehouse of the 18th Combined Arms Army was also destroyed. Ukraine's Unmanned Systems Forces destroyed a Zhytel electronic warfare station in Luhansk region. This rare and expensive system can jam ground radio signals up to 25 kilometers and aircraft communications up to 50. It also disrupts GPS navigation and GSM networks. Over 130,000 enemy targets have been verified as destroyed or damaged. This result was achieved 2 months after the Delta system was introduced into the armed forces. Minister of Defense Denis Shmyhal reported that several upgrades were implemented for the artificial intelligence-based auto-detection technology. Its detection accuracy is now 70%, and the average detection time is about 2 seconds. Nighttime detection is also being developed. The minister emphasizes that today Delta has become a true digital weapon, an example of Ukrainian innovation that this is charging the battlefield and setting new standards for partners. We Will Prevail, produced by the main communications directorate of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine!